Hey everyone, it's Sam from Raggedy Bits. Welcome back to another week of Waste Not Wednesday. If you see the little red button over in this hand corner, that means you're watching live. Just let me know where you're tuning in from. I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. But if you don't see that little red button at the top there, live button at the top, that means you're watching the replay. So don't forget to comment replay, hashtag replay, and let me know where you're also tuning in from. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set myself up properly, and then we'll just run through what we did last week. We made a cute little Valentine's card, which we decoupaged a little paper, a little pocket on, which was really cool. Give me two, whoops. Gotta love technology. Okay, save. Sorry guys, bear with me. Okay, all right. So last week we used one of the these giant tags, and we decoupaged onto a little bit of aged calico, which I sort of just grubbied up with a little bit of Parisian essence. I ended up doing a little bit of faffing about. I felt like when I finished the live last week for Waste Not Wednesday, I kind of felt like it was just a little bit too stark with just the calico behind. So I ended up adding the striped ticking behind, which I think I got this fabric from Spotlight. I can't remember 100% because I bought a lot of it when I bought it, but I'm pretty sure it was Spotlight. So I ended up layering that behind it and just basically did everything the same. Added these cute little love hearts to the top, to the greenery to make it a little bit more Valentine-y. Hey Carla, how you going, lovely? I did get your message before. How funny that you've got the same magazine rack that we're going to be working on tonight. And I just popped in one of these little Valentine's prints, which you could also put in like little love letters for your honey or for yourself, some little motivation quotes. So I just had that tacked inside. And I think I did that on screen, so you can probably see it's better than what was in the photo. You can actually see the stamping. So we did a little bit of stamping, and then I stuck on the little wooden buttons and added a little rusty bell. So I'll just turn that around and show you. So this little rusty bell here. Oh, no, here. Hi there, Belinda. How you going, lovely? Hope you're having a good week. Isn't it so much nicer to have a cooler day today than what it's been like? It's been so humid. I'm just going to pop this over here so I don't ruin it. So I've done a little bit of prep work on this little magazine rack because it's got so many different sort of there's so many sides, layers, there's little grooves. There's a lot of painting in here, on here. So I did a little bit of prep work. I left my little S30 at home, so I wasn't able to do inside. So it's a really dark sort of timber. I gave it a really good clean, or actually the girls that come in of an afternoon and helped me, they cleaned it with TSP, Fusion TSP, and then gave it a bit of a scuff sand. So, and I've just gone directly on it. I just made sure that there wasn't any bleed through. Like I did a little test patch earlier this afternoon, and I just let it sit for a couple of hours, and then made sure that none of that brown tannin that we love, or should I say we don't love when we're painting furniture, wasn't coming through. Because if it had, I would have stopped, and then I would have put a coat of the Dixie Belle Boss on, but unlucky, nothing's happened. So we shall hopefully not have to, I'm not concerned that it's going to do any bleed through because I would have already seen it. Okay, so the colors that I've gone on with is just casement, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the Raggedy Bits Decoupage Paper, Hotel Burgundy, which is the smaller version of the large one that we'll be using in the workshop that's coming up, the big chippy window workshop, which you guys have been booking in for, which is wonderful. So we're going to be using this decoupage paper, and we're going to be doing the same on the other side. So I've basically prepped one side, and then I was going to show you how I do the other side. I've got to give it another coat of white paint just so you can see the process that I go through. So that's what we'll be using tonight. So I put casement on here, and then the green, the really pretty green that you see, is the Artisan Sage. It's a really sort of pretty sort of eucalyptus-y kind of color, really pretty soft green, very popular at the moment. Fusion also have bellwood and eucalyptus as well. So there, if you've got some of that at home, you could always try this. If you had an old magazine rack at home, you could always try it with those colors. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put out some baking paper just so I can protect the side that I've done. So this side I've only put one coat of casement on, and I want to go ahead and put on another coat. And the reason I like to go down with a white underneath the decoupage paper is so that it really makes the colors, I should say, of the papers really pop and more vibrant. So whereas if I'd gone down with the sage, it would mute some of these, like these really creamy colors. So I want to keep that because I'm sort of going for that vintagey kind of look. So yeah, that's the reason why I go on with the white beforehand. Obviously, if it was a black decoupage paper, I wouldn't be too fussed about it. So what's everybody been up to this week? Have you been creating anything? Where have I put my foil? Oh, there it is. I'm just going to pop some foil out. And I just need to move my computer because I always get worried I'm going to flick paint or do something to it. Just put that there. Give me a bit of room. You've been busy creating anything since we last chatted last week? Or have you been just trying to stay cool with this dreadful heat that we're been having? Alrighty, so this is the casement. It's just the dregs that I've got in the bottom of this tub. And I'm just going to go where I'm going to be putting the decoupage paper. And I'm not being too fussy or worried if I get any sort of white paint on the edges, like where, I don't know if you guys can see it. This is a very awkward piece to be doing on camera. There's like a little lip. I'm not fussed if I get a little bit of white up on that lip because I'm going to be essentially distressing quite heavily because I really like the color of the timber that is underneath, and it's quite dark, so it's going to give it a really nice kind of old look, if that makes sense. So I'm basically just going to give this a quick coat of the casement. Let's just spin this around. I feel like a little, like I'm shrinking. I feel really low. And of course I'm going to have to touch up the inside when I go home and get my brush, my little S30, because these Klingons have got quite a long handle, whereas the S30's got a smaller handle, and I'll be able to get in there and get all the sides of the inside of the magazine rack. Okay. All right, so I'm going to just dry that off, because we need to make sure that that's completely dry before we put the decoupage paper down. I just love the little legs on this magazine rack. It's so cute. want to make sure that that's nice and dry. So that's what we're looking like. And I didn't want to sort of, I did think about sort of going with a similar color to the decoupage paper, but I wanted for there to be a little bit of a transition, and I really like this green. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a two-tone with some of that timber coming through on the bottom, which I think will look cute. Hopefully it will look cute. Okay, I just painted the wrong side. I've just painted the good side that was ready to go. We're off to a good start. I need to paint this side. This is the bad side. I've only gone on with one coat. I don't know if you can see that. So I'll just quickly give this one its second coat. I went a little bit over, too far over with the sage green. But that's okay, it's an easy fix. So I hope everyone's been having a good week. Hey April, how you going? Hope you're having a good week. It's been pretty busy here, getting in preparations for this weekend's whimsical wares event that we're having in the Emporium. So there's lots of things happening, and I actually, sorry, I forgot to mention that I got this little magazine rec from Debbie, who's in the Emporium. She owns Rustic, Chic and Rustique. So she had this, she bought it in, and I was just like, yeah, this has got to come home with me, or I've got to do something with it, because I mean, look at those cute little legs, they're so cute. And it stands up nice and tall and proud. So, yeah. So she's quite often got lots of goodies. So if you're local and you're looking for something to upcycle, she's got some great things. You're in hospital, Margaret. Oh, I hope everything's all right. I hope your surgery goes okay. Sam, has the bonding boss come in yet? No, it hasn't come in yet, April, and it will get listed on my website when it does, and I will send out an email, but I will also let you know via Messenger. Yes, I will do that. All right, so that's all done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little bit of decoupage paper. We'll probably be able to decoupage both sides, and I'm just going to get my placement ready. Luckily, it just fits. Like it'll be a little bit of a tight fit, but I'm not all that like annoyed that there's just going to be just a tiny bit of the lettering that will just curl up on the side. It may even flatten itself out. I just need to pull that up. We're going to probably lose a little bit of the Paris, so I want to try and keep the hotel burgundy, obviously the main part of it on the side. I'm just running my fingernail around just gently, not to sort of rip it, just to give a bit of a, hopefully that's nice and straight. I'm like literally eyeballing all of this, and I'm probably just going to let it sort of go up a little bit up over the top of the magazine rack as well. Anyway, we'll see how we go. I think this is a little bit bubbly on this side. So if you would like to see the supply list of the things that I've used this evening, just comment link in the comments, and a little message will pop up from me, and you just got to let Facebook know that it's okay for me to send you a message, and then there'll be a list of all the goodies that I've used, and they'll then just take you straight over to the website, so you don't have to go trudging through 1,000 products. All right, so I've kind of got the idea of where I would like to cut. So I'm going to lose a little bit of the H, but I'm not worried. Are you guys worried? Okay, so I'm just going to use my scissors now. You could tear it if you wanted to, but that would involve a little bit of blending. You'd have to probably blend into your paper a little bit, which is fine. That's a fun technique. But I'm going to use scissors tonight. Taking my time so I don't go off the line. Okay, and I just need to trim off just a tiny weeny little bit off this side. Okay. And sometimes, you know, like with your offcuts, I have like a little Ziploc A4 mesh bag that I keep all my offcuts in. So you could use that. See how that's got like a little bit of a watermark in the back part of it, like a ticket? You could use that for something else, like a little tag or something. So I always try to keep, obviously not that, but yeah, I sort of try to keep the offcuts just in case. I mean, sometimes it does get a little bit out of hand, but then that's a good thing, like a good time to sort of sit down and, you know, make a whole stack of tags, make gift tags. There's lots of things you could do. Okay. All right. So I've actually cut a little bit wobbly at the bottom there. It just swings up at the top there, but that's okay, because what I'm going to be doing is aging it and probably distressing it a little bit as well, so it'll all blend in. All right, so I'm going to turn around so this is facing, so I'm going to start at the bottom because that's my nice flat edge, and because this has got like a little bit of a lip in it, I'm going to leave that last so I can sort of like cut it a little bit and sort of play around with it and pull it around the top of the magazine holder. And I'm just going to use my Dixie Belle Clear Coat as the decoupage medium. You could use the Fusion decoupage medium if you wanted to, whatever you got lying around, or even the good old Mod Podge. But you've probably heard me say that 1,000 times. I don't like using Mod Podge. If I'm desperate and I don't have anything else, I will tend to water it down a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to work in sections, and I'll hold this up in a little bit. Oops, went on a little bit too thick. I'm just using one of my Temu brushes that have come in handy. That was so funny. I know, Chris, you had the same problem, didn't you? You ordered the same brushes. Did you get a big shock when you got them? And we're like, hey, I thought they were bigger. I know I did. Oh, teaches me for not having a look at the measurements properly. Okay, so I'm just using my fingers really gently. You can use a scrunched up bit of cling wrap, and then I'm just going to fold that backwards. You can also lightly mist your decoupage papers, but I tend not to. unless it's a really big piece, like one of the big pieces that I might be putting onto a piece of furniture or something like that, then I will tend to mist it just to help it kind of stick properly and not move as you're trying to adhere it onto your piece. And I'm not stressed if I get bubbles because we can always use the ironing method. I've got a couple coming. I'll hold this up in a minute once I've got it down. I should have probably misted just that center part where the crease is. That's all right. Then I'll just do this last little bit. Actually, maybe I was thinking that I would sort of fold the decoupage paper over the top, but I think what I might do is just bring it to the end and then I'm going to sand it off. I think that's what I'll do. You ordered them on purpose. Oh, you didn't do a silly thing like me, Chris. And not read the measurements. It was so funny. Good old Temu. Alright. So that's what we're looking like. There's just a little bit of a crease there, but I'm going to use my iron in a little bit and get rid of them. Okay, I'm going to dry that off. Sometimes even the heat gun will straighten out your creases, or your hair dryer if you don't have access to a heat gun. Okay, I'm going to use my little gator, if I can find it. I think I keep moving my little trolleys around and all my little bits and pieces, so we might have to just go with a sanding block. I don't know where I put it. It's gone missing. I had it here. No. Okay, so scrap that. I'm just going to use a normal sanding block. And I like to buy my sandpaper in a roll and then just wrap it around a sanding block because I really don't like the sanding blocks because they just fall apart. And this is 120 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to lightly away from the lip. Hold this up in a minute. Oops. I'm just removing that lip. And it looks, I'm going to go back and fix it up, but I've actually gone all the way back to some of the timber, and I don't mind that look. You guys might mind that look. Do you guys like the chippy look, or do you like the you know, modern look? Just got a little bit hanging off the edge there. Just want to make sure that that's all stuck down properly. All right. What I should have done was plugged my iron in. I do this every week, don't I? I forget to plug it in. But what we might do is flip it over and do the other side, and then we can do all the ironing at once. That's a good idea. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. guys, we'll get there. Alright, so I'm just going to flip that over and I'm going to do the same again on this side, because I thought it would be nice to have same on either side. And we're just going to go through that same process again. I'm not going to worry about too much if it's not exactly the same as the other side. Just adds character. Just scoot over this way a little bit. Just going to stand up for this one. It's a little bit of fiddling around, but I feel like it's all worth it in the end. But you could use, you know, sort of leftover bits of transfers. You could have really lots of fun. Just make sure you don't do what I did on the other side. Just get your fingernail right into the corner, just to score it properly. And then we're going to do the same thing again and cut all the bits out. Again, hold on to that piece, use it for something else. You guys are very quiet tonight. Is it because it's hump day, or nearly hump day for some? If you're watching from overseas. That was a much better effort on getting that in the corner there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Spotlight, Tanya. Did I miss a question? Ooh. I'm not. I haven't shut up. Good on you, Chris. I must have missed your question. I'm sorry. The little iron. I got mine from Harvey Norman. But yes, they do have them at Spotlight. So yes, you definitely can get them at Spotlight. They're just such a neat little, like, they're obviously meant for vinyl and stuff like that, but I love them because because it gets right into the corners of furniture and stuff like that when you're decoupaging, which is kind of cool. All right, I'm going to do the same again and just spin this around. Ah, Big W's got them now too. That's awesome. There also are little mini, if you don't want to, you know, make the big expense of a Cricut one, there are the little travel irons that you can pick up as well. They work just fine. Okay, so I'm going back down with my clear coat. So today we were busy. We were getting all the little treat bags ready for Saturday for the first 20 purchases through the cash register. There's a little treat bag, which is kind of fun. I always love putting those together each time we have an event and coming up with different things. Stop talking, Sam, and concentrate. Otherwise your seal is going to dry. I was not quick enough. I've got a fan over to my right, and it dries out the paint really quickly, but I dare not turn it off because I will literally melt. humidity. It's my goal by next summer to have at least one air conditioner in here in the Emporium so that we don't melt. Because I don't know if I can do another summer. It's been so hot. I'm really not having a great. I'm going to start this. It's the humidity. Do you guys find that the humidity? It's not the heat. It's just that, yeah, oppressive humidity. It's I've not enjoyed it at all. And it's like if you turn the, what am I doing? I need to stand up. If you turn the fans off, it just hits you. Why was the other one so easy to put on and this one I'm having troubles? Because I'm talking too much. Better be careful, this is starting to get a little bit too damp and it's going to start tearing. Alright, I'm committed and I've somehow, I must have cut this bit crooked as well. Doesn't matter, I will fix. I'll actually show you a little trick that you can do if you do decoupage like I have. And see that, now that I've put it on, I've gone up again over here. I must have a khaki hand, but I'll show you a little trick and it'll look like you haven't even made a boo-boo. And it's good to make boo-boos because you learn from them. Yes, you've struggled so much this summer too, Chris. It's just been revolting. Absolutely revolting. And even, you know, like if we get a little bit of rain, I don't know if it's the same where you are, Chris, it just makes everything even more humid. So I'm just using my fingertips, just really gently pushing that paper towards me, and then I'll fold it back and then do it again. Hopefully the internet's behaving itself tonight. I mean, there's probably 1,000 ways that everybody applies their decoupage papers and do all the things differently. You do what works for you. There's no right or wrong way. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that that's all adhered properly, and then I'll show you a trick. I'm just going to dry this off a little bit. Okay, so that's what it's looking like at the momento. So this is the edge where I just went a little bit, I don't know, I didn't follow the lines. I went rogue, but I'm going to show you a trick. I'll just get rid of that bit at the top first. I will seal this as well because I'll be mucking around with, sorry, this is a little bit of hair that keeps blowing in my nose and making it tickle from the fan. I will be playing with a bit of wax, so I want to have that layer to protect it if I go on too heavy. It's got some heat in it. So that's what we're looking like on the other side. Now I'm going to show you a little trick down the bottom here where, see where that gap is? Ow. See where the gap is? I'm going to find the part where I just cut off, and I'm going to match that up as best I can. I'm going to have to take my glasses off. I know that's weird. I'm just going to line that up. And then I'm going to do the fingernail trick again. To be there. And then I'm just going to cut that off. I think I've come to the realization, guys, that I need bifocals. And I've like put off going to the, I nearly said obstetrician. It's not obstetrician for your eyes, is it? It's optometrist. I've put off going to the optometrist because I just simply do not want to get bifocals, because then that means I'm getting like old. All right, might help if you put this around the right way, Sam. That's better. So I've got this really thin little strip, and I'm just going to go over the top of where I've been, and then I'm going to make sure that I've got it up the right way, and just really gently line it up the best I can, and then adhere. I'll hold it up in a minute, and you guys can tell me whether or not you can see the boo-boo. We'll just dry it off. No, Chris. I'm doing a lot of this lately, and I'm like, that's not cool. Okay, so can you see can you see like whether or not I've just attached that thin strip? Let me know in the comments. Just got a little flappy bit there that I don't want there. I'll probably get that off when we do the ironing. So I'm going to seal the paper now, and then I'll do the ironing, because basically if it's not sealed and then we just go on and seal it, it's just going to crinkle back up again. So I'm going to give it a really nice thin coat of the clear coat, and then this will act as a little barrier for when we play around with the waxing. I don't want to go on too thick, because otherwise you might tear your paper. What color paint is everybody loving to paint with at the moment? Like, the green is my favorite at the minute, hands down. The eucalyptus or the sage. I've also did painted a little console table in the same colour, but I keep getting sidetracked to fix it, like to finish it. But I'm going to do that tonight before I go home. I want to put the paper that I'm going to use on the top part of the table, and then I'm going to let that dry overnight, and then I'll come back in the morning and finish it off because it's almost done. It's just really, it's just been busy. It's been full on. Okay. All right, I'm going to dry that off just so that I make sure that I don't, when I flip it over, that I don't rip any of the paper. Ooh. Sorry, I missed that. Just white. Yeah. I have done too many commission pieces in white, and I'm loving just the soft green. Okay, so that's what we're looking like so far. There's a few little bubbles in it. I don't know if you guys can pick up that on the screen, but I'm going to iron this. It's still a little bit tacky, so I'm going to dry that a little bit more because I don't want to put the iron on it and then obviously rip the paper off. Carefully flip that over and do the same on this side. That is not as bad as the other side, so I'm just gonna let that one slide. Again, just a really thin coat of the clear coat using my little mini brush. They make me laugh. I don't know why they make me laugh. It would probably be quicker if I used a bigger brush, but I'm enjoying hanging out with you guys, so doesn't matter. So cute. I'm loving this color. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, dry this off. Because they are cute. They are cute, aren't they, Chris? Oakley dokley. Iron's ready to go. I'm going to grab some baking paper to act as a bit of a sandwich in between the decoupage paper and the hot iron. And I'm going to cover that, and I'm just going to do a little bit of ironing. I don't recommend using the iron that you sort of might iron your hubby's work shirts with, because if you've got any glue or anything on it, like on the baking paper, it will stick to the bottom of your iron. And that will go straight onto his shirts. Ask me how I know. Oh dear. Even though I have sealed this a little bit, even though I've sealed this, I'm still going to distress probably the paper a little bit, because that's the kind of look. Why did I do that? Got to do the other side. So that's what it's looking like now. It's ironed out all of those little crinkles that we don't want. And do the same again on this side. And essentially what this does is it just, for those who are new and who have never decoupaged before, it just basically melts your decoupage medium, whatever that might be that you're using, and then it makes it, all the paper stick to the surface properly. Okay, that's all done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my paper. That's still a little bit sticky. I might let that side cool down a little bit and go over to the other side. It's still a little bit warm too. Okay, what I might do is I'm just going to distress, we'll do this side first, because this is going to be the one that cools down the quickest. I'm just going to distress just a little bit around the edges of where I want a little bit of that dark wood to come through. And when I distress, I kind of like work where things would naturally sort of wear and tear over time. So that's like around the edges, sort of a little bit around the feet, not too much around the feet. And it's up to you with sort of like how heavy you want to be with your distressing. I'm kind of feeling, given the age of the little magazine rack, I'm going to go quite heavy. And then this will just sort of give me an indication too of how hard I want to sort of go on with, I'll turn this around in a minute, how hard I want to sort of go with the antiquing wax, if that makes sense. I really could do with my little gator sander, but I don't know where he's gone. He's probably in one of the other trolleys. Because it's, you know, it's really thin, so I'd be able to get in to the crevices a little bit better. So that's what we're doing so far, and I will re-wax this because this is obviously a chalk paint. Where am I going? This way. This is obviously a chalk paint, so now that I have distressed it, I've opened up the pores obviously of the paint, so you want to make sure that you seal it whenever you distress. And I may even get like a little liner brush and just touch up where I've gone in with the white, because that does look a little bit funny. I'll just get like a little liner brush. There will be a little bit of faffing of this, so I probably won't be able to share it with you tonight when I jump off, but I will share it with you tomorrow when it's all done, because it's going to be available for the Whimsical Wares event on Saturday here in the Emporium. So as I said, it's up to you with how heavy you go. Okay, what do you think, guys? looking good so far. Can you see how just adding, when we go to add that antiquing wax, it's really going to make this paper pop. And it looks nice with the green. I'm glad I went with the sage, because as I said, I was going to go with this sort of same sort of colour, but then I thought, no, let's do some colour. Because that's what I was going to say before about the white. I actually read a really interesting article, and tell me if you've heard it as well, because everybody is sort of going with really neutral colours in their home, and not colour, it's starting to affect people's eyesights, which I thought was a study that was done, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. I should have kept it, but I didn't, because that would be sensible. I'm just going to kind of like I think I will definitely go back in with just like a little tiny liner brush, and I'm going to I'll probably even tape off. I'll show you what I mean, so if you ever get stuck. So this is just frog tape. If I can get in. Because now that this is sealed, I can add on a little bit of frog tape, and this will just then help protect your decoupage paper. I know it's a bit back to front, but because there's these little grooves, you kind of like, I wasn't sure whether the white would look right or not, but it doesn't look right, it looks funny. So, and it won't tear. Just make sure that this is completely dry before you do it. So that's what I've done. I've just taped that off, and then I will grab a little round liner brush, something like this. Maybe not that one, no, this one. This is a, can't tell anymore because I've used it too much. So it's just a little round brush. I'm just going to dip that into the sage, and then I'm just going to run it down the side, and then that way it won't hurt decoupage paper or get onto your decoupage paper. So it looks like that, and that white that's in there has now, this is really awkward, gone. So I hope that makes sense. So there is a little bit of faffing about. I'll leave that to dry. I don't want to peel that off while that's drying, but then I'll show you what I'm going to do just to distress a little bit. I'm not going to go too hard. It just depends, like you don't have to do this part, but I want to sort of, I guess, make it look like the age of the magazine wrap. I'm just really lightly just hitting the paper so it's looking like it's been on here when it got made. I'll hold that up so you can see. So, I don't know, can you guys see that okay? Looking awesome. Thank you, Carla. Thank you muchly. And that's why I always like to sort of seal first, because sometimes, because it is paper, if you sort of distress it without that sort of protectant on it, you'll rip too much off. I'm just going to dry that. It's still a bit tacky. If I was at home, doing this at home, I would probably slow this whole process down and not be pushing it as hard as I am, because obviously I'm not letting the product dry properly. Thanks, Chris. Thank you, Belinda. And that's why it's tacky and it's humid. It's not the greatest weather to be painting in. I'm just going to carefully pull that off. No, I'm going to leave that because I think that needs just another little coat. So I'm just going to leave that there. All right. In fact, fact, I'm going to have to do all in there. So that's going to be a big job before I can even sort of start adding, because there's no point in me sort of coming in with my wax until I fix up these edges. And I appreciate that it's almost 8 o'clock and I don't want you guys to be patiently waiting while I fill in the bits. So what I might actually do is I will do those bits and then I will come back and add in the wax and stuff like that, and then I'll have to take a photo and share on my page. So what do you reckon, guys? I think I like this. I definitely like the aged bit of the decoupage paper. I'm going to do it on this side as well. Just rub it back just a little bit. So I'm really not going hard at all. Just a bit of that lettering just to make it look like it's, as I said, been sitting on this magazine rack since the day it was made. And if you happen to distress a little bit too much, you can always use your wax just to deepen it back down again and make it look like part of the paper, which is kind of handy to do, which I've done before. I've gone, oh, I've gone a bit too hard in that spot, and then I just grab my wax and just go straight over it. So that's the other side. You love it? Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Margaret. I hope you're doing okay in hospital, and you're going to be home soon, because there'll be a big surprise waiting for you on your doorstep. The DIY surprise boxes are going to be delivered tomorrow to all the local girls, which is awesome. So there's going to be a bit of crafting over in the DIY surprise box next week, which will be fun. So much going on. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I shall go. Oh no, I've missed almost the whole Waste Not Wednesday. That's all right, Belinda. You can always watch the replay, and if you have any questions, you know where I am. All right, I'm going to go finish this off, and so that tomorrow I can take a photo for you, and I'll show it here on my page. But thank you so much for keeping me company tonight. I hope you've enjoyed this little makeover, and for those who are coming to Whimsical Wares Market on the weekend, I look forward to seeing you then. But for all the other lovelies, I will see you next week for Waste Not Wednesday. You guys take care. Bye.